I'm Natasha, 28. Standing in front of this hotel mirror, my hands tremble as I adjust the silk scarf covering the faint scar on my left cheek. The woman staring back at me in the mirror seems like a stranger. 3 years ago, my family held a funeral for me, telling everyone I died in a car accident. But here I am, very much alive, about to walk uninvited into my sister Lily's wedding. The question isn't whether I should go, it's whether I'm ready for the storm that'll break when my father sees me. As I apply a final coat of lipstick, the memories flood back. I remember the first time I brought Ethan home. Ethan was a brilliant software engineer from a different cultural background. My father, Mr. Anderson, a 55-year-old strict businessman, barely looked at him. He sat at the dinner table, his eyes cold, asking pointed questions about Ethan's family and traditions. My mother, Mrs. Anderson, a 52-year-old socialite more concerned about appearances, forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. After Ethan left that night, my father cornered me in the living room. "That boy isn't right for you, Natasha," he growled, his voice low and menacing. "Our family has a reputation in this town. We don't mix with people like them." I felt my blood boil. "You mean intelligent, hard-working people?" I shot back. "Don't be smart with me, young lady. You'll find a suitable boy from a proper family." Over the next few months, every conversation at home became a battlefield. Lily, then 20, a college student majoring in literature, tried to stay neutral at first. One evening, she pulled me aside and whispered, "I think Ethan seems really nice, Natasha. Don't let them get to you." But as the pressure from our parents mounted, she started avoiding the topic. Then came the fateful night. Ethan proposed to me under the stars, and I was over the moon. I rushed home to share the news, thinking they'd eventually come around. I gathered everyone in the living room. My father was reading the newspaper, my mother was sipping tea, and Lily was curled up on the couch with a book. "Ethan and I are engaged," I announced, holding up my hand with a simple but beautiful ring. My father's face turned red with anger. He slammed the newspaper down and stood up so fast his chair nearly toppled over. "Absolutely not. You're not marrying him. As long as you live under my roof, you'll follow my rules." My mother chimed in, her voice shaky. "Natasha, think about your future. What will people say?" Lily tried to intervene. "Maybe we can talk this out calmly." But my father was beyond reason. "It's him or us. You choose now." I looked around at their faces, the faces of the people I'd loved my whole life. But I knew my choice. "I choose him," I whispered. My father's face contorted with rage. "Then you're no daughter of mine. Get out of this house and never come back." I packed a small suitcase, the one with the old family photo inside, a photo that now seemed like a distant dream. As I walked out the door, Lily followed me, tears streaming down her face. "Natasha, please don't go. Maybe Dad will change his mind." I hugged her tightly. "I'll always love you, Lily. Always remember that." Ethan and I moved to a small apartment in the city. Those first 6 months were a blur of happiness. We'd wake up to the sound of the city outside, cook breakfast together, and plan our future. Ethan's parents welcomed me with open arms, showing me their family traditions and stories. I miss my family, especially Lily, but I was determined to make a new life. Then, on a rainy Friday afternoon, everything changed. I was driving home from a client meeting when a truck plowed into me at a red light. The impact was deafening, and the next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed 3 weeks later. Ethan was by my side, looking haggard and worn out. When I asked if he'd called my family, his face fell. I tried, "Natasha. Your father said you were dead to them." The words hit me like a ton of bricks. I tried to reach out to them during my recovery, but all my efforts were in vain. The phone line at home was disconnected, and emails bounced back. It was as if I'd been erased from their lives. 2 months later, Ethan came home with a newspaper clipping. A former classmate had told him that my family had held a funeral for me. I stared at the black and white words, "Natasha Anderson, 25, remembered at a memorial service." They'd rewritten my story, turning me into the perfect daughter they'd always wanted, ignoring the life I'd built with Ethan. Ethan and I decided to leave the town behind and start anew in Seattle. We built a successful life there. Ethan got promoted at work, and I grew my freelance graphic design business. But there was always a void in my heart, a void shaped like Lily. Then one evening, as I scrolled through Instagram, I saw it. A post from Lily celebrating her engagement to Ryan, a kind-hearted schoolteacher. The caption read, "I wish my sister Natasha could be here. I know she's watching over me from heaven." I broke down in tears. For weeks, I couldn't stop thinking about Lily's wedding. Ethan was worried. Natasha, showing up at the wedding might cause more harm. Her wedding day isn't the right time. But I knew I had to go. Lily deserved to know I was alive. On the morning of the wedding, I stood in the hotel room, my hands shaking as I put on the navy blue dress. I wrapped the silk scarf around my neck, trying to hide the scar and the fear. I drove to the church, my heart pounding with every mile. I parked a few blocks away and walked towards the church. The sound of wedding bells filled the air. As I entered the church, I saw my parents sitting in the front row. My father's hair was completely gray, and my mother looked thinner. And then I saw Lily. She was a vision in her white wedding dress, but there was a sadness in her eyes. During the speeches, Lily stood up. "I want to thank everyone for being here, but I wish my sister Natasha could be here. She would have loved Ryan." She held up her bouquet and said, "This is for my sister Natasha, wherever you are." That's when I knew I couldn't stay hidden any longer. I walked through the doors, and the room fell silent. Lily's eyes met mine, and the bouquet slipped from her hands. My father's face turned white as a sheet, then red with rage. "Why are you still alive? You're supposed to be dead," he shouted. The room erupted in chaos. Lily ran towards me, tears streaming down her face. "You're alive. Oh my God, you're alive." I held her tight, breathing in the familiar scent of her perfume. Over her shoulder, I saw my parents' shocked faces. I stepped forward and said, "They told everyone I died in a car accident 3 years ago. They held a funeral for me while I was in the hospital, fighting for my life." Gasps filled the room. Lily turned to our parents, her face a mix of horror and anger. "Is this true?" My mother started sobbing, and my father sputtered, trying to find words. "We thought you'd made your choice," my mother finally whispered. "You chose him over your family." Lily's face hardened. "You've been lying to me for 3 years. You let me grieve for a sister who is alive. You don't get to be part of this celebration." She turned to me. "Where have you been? What happened?" I told her the whole story, from the accident to our new life in Seattle. Lily listened, her eyes filled with tears. After the chaos subsided, Lily and I had a long talk. She said she needed time to process everything, but she was glad I was alive. In the days that followed, Lily called me. We met at a small cafe, just like we used to when we were kids. She listened as I told her about Ethan, about our life in Seattle. She showed me photos of her and Ryan, and I could see the love in her eyes. As for my parents, they sent me a letter, a formal one, admitting they'd made mistakes but lacking a real apology. I decided not to respond. I knew that the relationship with them might never be the same. Lily and I are slowly rebuilding our relationship. She and Ryan came to Seattle for a visit, and Ethan and Ryan got along great. We had a wonderful time together, cooking, laughing, and making new memories. Looking back, I realized that some wounds may never fully heal, but I've learned that family isn't just about blood. It's about the people who stand by you, who love you for who you are. And I'm grateful for the new family I've built with Ethan and the rediscovered bond with Lily.